Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami, chapter 23. We have been discussing the symptoms of one who has attained Prema Bhakti. We have finished that, and then we have come to the theme of the transcendental qualities of Krishna. So I'll just recap what we discussed up till now. One who has attained Prema Bhakti, you cannot understand his words, actions, his activities. And two quotations are given. And in Prema Bhakti, or in the stage of Prema, there are these higher levels, Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, Bhava, and Mahabhava. So this is within Prema, the stage. Very important to know. Within Prema, these higher levels, these are not attained in even Siddha bodies. By sadhana, when we attain Siddhi, Sadhya, even those bodies cannot sustain this high level of ecstatic emotions. Only in the spiritual bodies in Krishna Lila, either those who are sadhana siddha, who participate in Krishna Lilas, they can exhibit this, or when you become a nitya siddha. This is very important for us to understand. And it is like the development of the sugarcane seed. And then these rati are manifested in these five rasas. And the stahi bhava mixes with the samagri, the vibhava, anubhava, satviki bhava, and the sanchari bhavas, and gives rise to rasa. So this concept we had understood, difference between rasa and bhava. Stahi bhava is a permanent emotion, and this has to mix with other ingredients, then it gives rise to rasa. So we saw the definition of vibhav, anubhav. Within vibhav, there is alamban and udipan. There is a vishay alamban and ashray. So all these definitions we saw, vishay and ashray in the alamban. And then what are the udipans? We discussed that also. And then Mahaprabhu goes on to discuss the Vabhichari bhavs, which are 33 varieties. So all the 33 varieties of Vabhichari bhavs, which embellish the Stahi bhav. These are like waves which come in the ocean, very high they go, and they again settle down. They embellish the Stahi Bhav. That's why Prabhupada calls them as transient emotions. So then Mahaprabhu explains how in Shantrasa we can go to the stage of Prema, in Dasirasa till Rag, Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, and Rag, up till Rag we can go. In Sakya and Vatsalaras, we can go till Anurag. But Subaladi, some of the very, very dear devotees, the Priya Narmasakas, can go up to Bhava because they also make arrangement for Radha Krishna's pastimes. And they're able to also witness those pastimes in one sense. So that's why they can go up till Bhav. And within Madhurya, there is Ruda, which the Maheshyas, and Adhiruda, the Gopis. They can go up till Mahabhav. So that's what Mahaprabhu gives a very nice understanding. And within this Mahabhav, there is Sambhog, which is called as Madana, and there is Vira, which is called as Mohana. And within Madana, there is Chumbanadi, and there are many divisions. And Udurna and Chitrajalpa are in Mohan. When there is separation, there is mad talk. And the classic example is of the Brahmara Geet of Srimati Radharani, which Uddhav witnessed. So that is, described. And in Vipralamba, we saw that there are these, after Purvarag, after Man, and being a little distance, and then far away. So like that, this Sambhog has these four different levels. In Vipralamba, there are four: Purvarag, Mana, Pravasakya, and Prema Vaichita. And we saw all these definitions also in the last class. And that's ends the discussion on Prema Bhakti. Now, yes, Mahaprabhu discusses this, but ultimately he comes to the very important topic that what are these qualities which attract the jiva towards Krishna, Radha and Krishna. So he goes on to enumerate that who is the Nayak and Nayika. The Nayak is Krishna, the Nayika is Radha Thakurani. So they are the real hero and heroine in our lives. So we are here in this material world to become heroes. And that's why we are suffering the threefold miseries. So when we make Krishna as our hero and Srimati Radharani as our heroine and serve for their pleasure, then we can experience real happiness. So he gives a quotation from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and from the Gautamiya Tantra, Brahad Gautamiya Tantra, and the 64 qualities of Krishna. So we discuss these 64 qualities up till verse 76. So now let us continue our further discussion after verse 76. Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 23, verse 77. Jiveshu ete vasantopi bindu bindutaya kvachit paripurnataya bhanti tatreva purushottame. These qualities are sometimes very minutely exhibited in living beings. Jiveshu etu vasantopi bindu bindutaya kvachit. But they are fully manifested in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the difference between the Jiva and the Lord, that these qualities are only manifested to a very minute level, but they are there fully in Krishna. So this verse is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Prabhupada makes clear that the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada made that famous statement, don't try to become God, try to become godly. By practicing Krishna consciousness, the godly qualities we can manifest. God has unlimited qualities, and those qualities in minute we can manifest. So try to become godly, don't try to become God. And Prabhupada quotes this famous verse, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manashashtani Indriyani, Prakriti Stani Karshati. The qualities of Krishna present in the living entity in minute atomic quantities. So, in what level it is manifested? Minute atomic quantities. So, you can imagine how much qualities are there in Krishna and what magnitude. Prabhupada gives some hint. A small portion of gold is certainly gold, but it cannot be equal to a gold mine. So, how much gold we possess at home and what is the gold mine? So, similarly, Krishna possesses these qualities in that kind of a magnitude. Similarly, the living entities have all the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in minute quantity, but the living entity is never equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. God is therefore described as the Supreme Being, and the living entity is being described as Jiva. God is described as a Supreme Being, the chief of all living beings, because he is supplying the necessities of all others. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidati Kaman. Prabhupada quotes the Svetashar Upanishads or the Manduk Upanishads, I think. Nityo Nityanam Chaitana Chaitananam. The Mayavadis maintain that everyone is God, but even if this philosophy is accepted, no one can maintain that everyone is equal to God in every respect. Only unintelligent men maintain that everyone is equal to God or that everyone is God. Okay, text 78. Atha Panchaguna Aisyor Amshena Girishadishu. Apart from these 50 qualities, there are 5 other qualities found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead that are partially present in demigods like Shiva. Beginning from Shiva. Shiva manifests the highest qualities because Shiva is the Mahadev. He is the Deva of the Devas. He is the highest demigod in this material world. Then comes Brahma, and then comes all the Devatas, the 8 principal demigods in the heavenly planets. So the qualities they manifest will be to a smaller and smaller degree. And Prabhupada says this verses from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Okay, this verse and the following 7 verses. So the next verses are quoted from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and this also is from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I'll not read the verse, I'll just go through the qualities. These qualities are the Lord is always situated in his original position. He's omniscient. So Shiva also possesses omniscience, but not to that degree as Krishna. He is omniscient of everything in this universe. Even Brahma is also omniscient in whatever is happening in the 14 planetary systems. He is always fresh and youthful. He is concentrated form of eternity and bliss. He is the possessor of all mystic perfection. There are another 5 qualities which exist in Vaikuntha planets in Narayan, the Lord of Lakshmi. These qualities are also present in Krishna, but they are not present in demigods like Lord Shiva or in other living entities. They are the Lord possesses inconceivable supreme power, Achintya Shakti. So this is not there even in Shiva. But Shiva cannot create universes. Devatas cannot create universes. Only Mahavishnu can create. He generates innumerable universes from his body. Yeah, I mentioned that, then this point is there. This is the difference between the Jiva and the Lord, you can say. He is the original source of all incarnations. He bestows salvation upon enemies, he kills. Yeah, this also the Devatas cannot do. Even Shiva cannot bestow salvation. He has the ability to attract exalted persons who are satisfied in themselves, Atmarams. So these additional qualities are not present even in Lord Shiva and the demigods. Although these qualities are present in Narayan, the predominating deity of Vaikuntha planet, they are even more wonderfully present in Krishna. So that is speciality of Krishna. Okay, next 2 verses are also there. Apart from these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has 4 transcendental qualities. Now, before I read the verse, I would like to know any devotee Who knows what are the 4 additional transcendental qualities which Krishna possesses? Which are the 4 additional qualities? Yes, Parth Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I recall Prema Madhuri, Leela Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, and Rupa Madhuri.
Yes, perfect. All these 4 qualities are present in Krishna. These are, Krishna is an ocean filled with the waves of pastime that evoke wonder, even wonder within everyone in the 3 worlds. This is Leela Madhuri. In his activities of conjugal love, he is always surrounded by his dear devotees who possess unequaled love for him, Prema Madhuri. He attracts the mind of all the 3 worlds with the melodious vibration of spirit. This is Venu Madhuri. And his personal beauty and opulence is beyond compare. This is Rupa Madhuri. No one is equal to him and no one is greater to him. Thus, the personality of Godhead astonishes all divinities, both knowing and non-knowing, within the 3 worlds. He is so beautiful that he is called Krishna. So this is all verses from the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Prabhupada gives a purport. Mayavadi's philosophers, Prabhupada, if you see, wherever he's getting a chance, he's hammering the Mayavad philosophy. Mayavad philosophers who have poor fund of knowledge simply dismiss the subject by explaining that Krishna means black. Not understanding the qualities of Krishna, these atheistic rascals do not accept him as a supreme personality of Godhead. Although the Lord is described and accepted by great personalities, acharyas and sages, the Mayavadis still do not appreciate him. Unfortunately, at the present moment, human society is so degraded that people cannot even provide themselves with life's daily necessities, yet they are captivated by Mayavadi philosophers and are being misled. So Prabhupada is hammering the Mayavad philosophy. All these qualities are present in Krishna and they consider, that we are all God. Everyone is God. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Prabhupada's main purpose was to hammer the Mayavad philosophy. So he's taking full advantage here. According to the Bhagavad Gita, simply by understanding Krishna, one can get free from the cycle of birth and death. Tektva deham punarjanma neti mam so Arjuna. Unfortunately, this great science of Krishna consciousness has been impeded by Mayavadi philosophers who are opposed to the personality of Krishna. Those who are preaching this Krishna conscious movement must try to understand Krishna from the statements given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion. So this is what Prabhupada is requesting the preachers. Now, why do you think this Mayavadi philosophy is the greatest threat to Krishna consciousness, or it is opposed to the personality of Godhead? What is the reason? What is the main reason why this Mayavad philosophy is so deep-rooted? What is the reason? What do you think? What is the reason, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. So I think in Mayavad philosophy, when they follow their practices and
First of all, tell me whether you are an adherent to Mayavad philosophy.
In Mayavad philosophy, they understand that it is like Aham Brahmasmi. There is
But this
and
they
consider
their philosophy that you are God, right?
Yes, and they understand that Krishna's body is material.
But now let us come to ourselves. Why are we here first in the world? Why are we,
Repeat again, bro.
why are we here first in the material world? First of all.
We are here in material world, Prabhu, because we have turned our faces from Lord.
Up to the point, we have come to become God. That's why
We
we are
have
here.
come to become God. Yes, yes.
Yes.
We want
So
to become God.
forget the Mayavadi philosophers. This Mayavad tendency is very deep rooted in us. And the proof is that we are here in the material world. So we wanted to become God, and that's why we are here in the material world. So this tendency of Mayavad philosophy, even when we go to higher stages of bhakti, can anytime it can spring up. So we should be very, very careful about it. We should be very, very careful. In fact, just like in the snake and ladder game, as you climb up, you have that at 99 or 96, two big snakes there. So as you go up in spiritual life, the tendency to think that your God can come up. That seed is there. Because we have all come to become God. And that's why Prabhupada says that the last snare of Maya is to think one is God. The last snare of Maya. So we should be careful. Forget about the Mayavad philosophy, darshan, and preaching to the Mayavadis. We should understand it for ourselves. So it is very, very important for us to understand this. So we should, by preaching the Krishna conscious philosophy, understanding the transcendental qualities of Krishna, then we can understand our position, and that will save us at least. So that's the important point here made. Text 84, 85. Leela premna priyadikam madhuryam venurupaya ityasadaranam proktam govindasya chatushtayan evam gunaschatur chatu shashtir udharitha. Above Narayan, Krishna has four specific transcendental qualities. His wonderful pastimes and abundance of wonderful associates who are very dear to him, like the gopis, his wonderful beauty and the wonderful vibration of his flute. Lord Krishna is more exalted than ordinary living beings and demigods like Lord Shiva. He is even more exalted than his personal expansion Narayan. In all, the Supreme Personal Godhead has 64 transcendental qualities in full. So it's not that Krishna has 64 transcendental qualities. He has unlimited transcendental qualities, but among them, the principal 64 is what Rupa Goswami enumerates in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Text 86. Ananta Guna Shri Radhikar Pachisa Pradhan E Gunera Vashahay Krishna Bhagavan. Similarly, Srimati Radharani has unlimited transcendental qualities, Ananta Guna, of which 25 are principal. Pachisa Pradhan. Sri Krishna is controlled by these transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. E Gunera Vashahay Shri Bhagavan. So these verses from 87 to 91 are the 25 qualities mentioned. I would like to read the verse. Atha Vrindavaneshwarya Kirtayante Paravara Guna Madhureyam Navavayas Chala Pangojwala Smita Charu Saubhagya Rekadya Gandonmadita Madhava Sangeeta Prasarabhigya Ramyavan Narma Pandita Vinita Karuna Purna Vidhagda Patavanvita Lajja Shila Sumaryada Dhairya Gambira Shalini Suvilasa Mahabhava Paramotkar Paramotkar Shatarshini Gokula prema vashate jagat shreni lasat yasha. Guru arpita guru sneha Saki pranayita vasha Krishna priyavali mukhya Santata shrava yeshava Bahuna kim gunastasya Sankyatita hare iva. Translation. Srimati Radharani's 25 chief transcendental qualities are: she is very sweet. She is always freshly youthful, Navayava. Her eyes are restless, Chapalango. She smiles brightly, Ujjvala Smita. She has beautiful auspicious lines, Charu Saubhagya Rekadya. She makes Krishna happy with her bodily aroma. Gandon Madita Madhava. She is very expert in singing, Sangeeta Parsara Vigya. Her speech is charming, Ramya Van. She is very expert in joking and speaking pleasantly, Marma Pandita. She is very humble and meek, Vinita. She is always full of mercy, Karuna Purna. She is cunning, Vidagda, Patavanita. She is expert in executing her duties. She is shy, Lajja. She is always respectful, Sheila, Sumaryada. She is always calm, Dhairya. She is always grave, Gambhira. She is expert in enjoying life, Shalini Suvilasa Mahabhava. She is situated in the topmost level of ecstatic love, Mahabhava. She is the reservoir of loving affairs in Gokula. Gokula Prema Vashater. She is the most famous of submissive devotees, Jagat Shreni Lasat Yasha. She is very affectionate to elderly people, Guru Arpita, Guru Sneha. She is very humble, very submissive to the love of her friends. Saki Prayamvita Vasha. She is the chief gopi, Krishna Priyavali Mukhya. She always keeps Krishna under her control. Santa Shrava Keshava. In short, she possesses unlimited transcendental qualities just as Krishna does. So these are the hero and heroines, and we should meditate on these qualities. And these are the twin lords of our heart. So as long as we don't make, our hero as Krishna and our heroine as Radharani, and serve for their pleasure, and we have some other hero in our heart, and some Mataji has some other heroine in their heart, and we go and watch their movies. Till then, we have to live in this illusionary world. So these verses are from the Ujjala Neelamani Sri Radha Prakarana. Okay. 92 to 101 is realization of rasas by devotees. Any questions up till now? We discussed the transcendental qualities of Krishna and the transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. Any questions, any clarifications up till now? Okay, one question is there. Yes, Virendra Yadav.
Prabhu, here Vedak translation is given cunning. This is right meaning, Prabhu?
I have Vidagdha, cunning, it is given. I don't know the Sanskrit word to word meaning how Vidagdha is cunning, but Prabhupada translates Vidagdha as cunning, so it should be cunning.
Right.
I'll have to find out how Vidagdha is cunning. This is transcendental cunning, not what cunning, duplicitous nature we have in the material world. It's not that. Okay. Any other questions anyone has? Okay, so we are on the last section now. And I think we need another class to finish this chapter. So that will end the entire Sanatana Shiksha discussion. Realization of rasas by devotees. Nayak Nayika Doi Rasera Alaman Sai Doi Shreshta Radha Vrajendra Nandan. The basis of all transcendental mellows is the heroine, and Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, are the best. Aimat Dasya, Dase Das, Sakya Sakya Gana, Vatsalya Mata Pita, Ashamba, Ashrayalamban. So, as I had mentioned, there is the Vishayalamban and the Ashrayalamban. So, what in this verse has been mentioned as the Vishaya Alamban? Who will answer? What is the Vishaya Alamban here? Nadiya Chaitanya Prabhu. What is the Vishaya Alamban here? Parth Satya Prabhuji. Yes. What is the Vishaya Alamban? I think your audio is not working again. You can type it maybe. Ranganath Charan Prabhuji, would you like to say? What is the Vishaya Alamban?
No, Prabhu, it's too technical for me.
It's not technical. Every day we are relishing this rasa in this world. It's the real science, and only when we understand this rasa, we can, Vibhava, as I had mentioned, has these two divisions, Alamban and Udipan. For love, there has to be support. There has to be a subject and there has to be object. Love means there have to be two. There is the Vishaya Alamban and the Asha Alamban. Vishaya is Krishna and Asha is the devotee. Now, here that verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita verse was mentioning that Radha and Krishna are the Vishaya. And Ashray in Madhurya Ras, the Ashraya Alamban. Who are the Ashraya Alamban in the Madhurya Ras? Ranganath Charan Prabhuji. Now, with this understanding, you should be able to answer.
The devotees?
Devotees, but who? In the Madhurya Ras, who are those devotees who have conjugal attraction between Radha and Krishna, for Radha and Krishna, who are their Vishaya? Who are those? There is one answer typed. It is correct. It is the gopis, because they possess Madhurya Ras. So their subject is Radha and Krishna. Now, those who are in Vatsalya Ras, for them the Vishaya is who? Ranganath Charan Prabhuji. Devotees who are in Vatsalya Ras, for them the Vishaya is what? The subject. Yes, Nadiya Chaitanya Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad. Prabhu Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna, which form of Krishna? Pardon?
Child Prabhu.
The Bal form of Krishna.
Bal.
And Ashraya who?
Mata Yashoda Prabhu.
And all the elderly gopis. And
Yes.
the Gopas also. And the Gopas also. And for the Dasya Ras, it is also the Gopas who are in Dasya Ras. And for the Sakya Ras, it is Sudhama and Shridhama. So that's what this verse is saying. And that's why I went into this concept. It's very important that we understand this subject very nicely. It's here. Yes. Yeah. Ei mate dasya dasye das sakye sakyagan vatsale mata pita ashrayalamban. Just as Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani are the object and shelter of the mellow of conjugal love, so in the mellow of servitorship, Dasye, Krishna, the son of Nand Maharaj, is the object, and the servants like Chitrak, Patrak, Raktak, and Patrak are the shelter. They are the Ashraya Alamban. Similarly, the transcendental mellow of friendship, Sakya, Lord Krishna is the object. And the friends like Sridhama, Sudhama, and Subala are the shelter. Sakya, Sakyagana, the Ashraya Alamban is Sridhama, Sudhama, and all. In the transcendental mellow of parental affection, Vatsale, Krishna is object, and Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj are the shelter. They are the Ashraya Alamban. I hope this is clear now. If you have any questions on this, you are free to ask. Ei rasa anubhave, eche bhaktagan, eche rasa hoy shuno tahara lakshan. Now hear how the mellows appear and how they are realized by the devotees on different transcendental platforms. Now, these is the Vishay and Ashray for all the 5 rasas. Especially as I mentioned, Mahaprabhu has come to give 4 rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and then the highest Madhurya. Now this is the rasa. Now how this rasa appears and how they are realized by devotees on different transcendental platform, Mahaprabhu is going to explain that. So this is the most important verse. Bhakta nirdhuta doshanam prasannujvala chetasam Shri Bhagavate Raktanam Rasika Sanga Ranginam Jivani Bhuta Govinda Pada Bhakti Sukha Shriyam Premanantaranga Bhutani Kirtyanya Evanutishtatam Bhaktanam Ridirajanti Samskara Yugolojjala Ratirananda Rupeva Niyamana Tu Rasyatam Krishnadibir Vibhavadyer Gatir Anubhavadvani Praudanandaschamakkar Kashtamaapadyate param. So, in whom does this rasa manifest? Whom it will be realized? Those devotees, for those who have completely washed off all material contamination by pure devotional sense. Bhakti nirduta doshanam means the heart is completely purified. Who are always satisfied and brightly enlightened in the heart. Prasanna ujjvala chetasam, who are always attached to understanding the transcendental meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Bhagavate Raktanam, we are attached to Bhagavatam. Those who are always eager to associate with advanced devotees. Rasika Sangha Ranginam, you take pleasure only in going to Rasikas and hearing Bhagavatam from them. Whose happiness is in the service of the lotus feet of Govinda is their very life. Jivani Bhutani Govinda, who always discharge the confidential activities of love for such advanced devotees. Pada Bhakti Sukha Shriyam, who are by nature situated in bliss. Premantaranga Bhutani, the seed of love, Rati, is expanded in the heart by previous and current reformatory processes. Samskara Ujjvala, Ratir Anand Rupe, Niyama tu Rasatam. Thus, the mixture of ecstatic ingredients becomes tasty and being within the perception of the devotee reaches the highest platform of wonder and deep bliss. Chamakkar, Apadyate Param. Praudanandascha. So, these qualities of Bhakti Nirdusta Doshanam, Prasanna Ujjala Chetasam, Bhagavata Raktanam, at what stage of bhakti do these manifest? At what stage? There is, these stages we know, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anant Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prem. So at what stage can we see these qualities manifest in that devotee? What is the stage? Anyone would like to try? Yes, Virendra Yadav Prabhuji.
So it's a bhava stage.
It is at Bhava stage. That's the right answer. It is at Bhava stage. Because it is mentioned Bhakta Nirduta Doshana. Almost all the bhakti becomes pure only at Bhava stage, also in one stage. It starts with Nishta. When we start practicing Raganuga Bhakti, Nashta Prayesha Bhadresha has happened. But the rasa is revealed, at Bhava. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogata Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. That verse is referring to Bhava stage. So until we come to that stage, we cannot relish this rasa, mellows. So what we can do among these qualities you are seeing here, it is mentioned, what qualities we can try to cultivate in our sadhana stage. Which are all the qualities? You can see this is first, Bhakti Nirduta Doshanam, Prasanna Ujjvala Chetasam, Shri Bhagavate Raktanam, Rasika Sangha Ranginam, Jivan Bhuta Govinda. All these are there. So what we can cultivate, strive, although we are not at that level, so that we can relish rasa, at least in our sadhana stage. Which are the qualities which we should strive for? Raise your hands. Who would like to answer? Any others would like to try? Okay, Virendra Yadav Prabhuji, I'll show the verse. Yes. Which are the qualities we should strive for?
So he should be very eager to associate with advanced devotees.
Rasika Sangha Ranginam. Okay.
And he should attach to understand the transcendental meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Shri Bhagavate Raktanam. One should be attached to understanding, relishing Bhagavatam. Okay. Then and we should be attached to our deities.
Yes, yes.
So these three things sadhakas should take. Very, very important. So that we can, and you can see that these three are actually the 5 most potent limbs. Among the 5, these 3 are there here. So that we can quickly experience these rasas. Okay. So this is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Text 99. Ei rasa aswadana nahi abhakta ragan, Krishna bhakta gan kare rasa aswadane. The exchange between Krishna and different devotees situated in different transcendental mellows is not to be experienced by non-devotees. Advanced devotees can understand and appreciate the different varieties of devotional service reciprocated with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's only advanced devotees who can understand this. Text 100. Sarvata eva duruhoyam abhakter bhagavat rasah tatpadam bhuja sarvasve bhakter evanurasyate. So Mahaprabhu is quoting that this rasa cannot be relished by non-devotees, only advanced devotees can relish. So he gives a proof. Non-devotees cannot understand the exchange of transcendental mellows between the devotees and the Lord. abhaktar bhagavat rasam, duroyo yam. In all respects, this is very difficult to understand. But one who has dedicated everything to the lotus feet of Krishna can taste the transcendental. Tat padambuje sarvese bhakter evanu rasyate. They can understand this. Now, this is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, this quotation. Text 101 to 102. Sangshipe kailuno e prayojana vivarna panchama purushartha e Krishna prema dhana. Now I have described in Sankship. I have just elaborated briefly. And this is the Panchama Purushartha, Krishna prema dhana. Purve prayagami rasera vichar tumara bhaya rupa kailo shakti sanchare. Previously, I empowered your brother Rupa Goswami to understand these malos. I did this while instructing him at the Dashashwamedh Ghat in Prayag. So this Rasa Tattva was also taught to Rupa Goswami. And now it is taught to Sanatana Goswami. Now Mahaprabhu gives the instruction. After giving the instruction, he says, Tumiha Kariya Bhakti Shastrera Prachar Mathuraya Lukta Tirtha Kare Udhar. O Sanatan, you should broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and evacuate the lost places of pilgrimage in the district of Mathura. Vrindavane Krishna Seva Vaishnava Achar Bhakti Smriti Shastra Kari Kariya Prachar. Establish devotional service to Lord Krishna and Radharani in Vrindavan. You should also compile Bhakti scriptures and preach the Bhakti cult from Vrindavan. So Prabhupada's purport is very, very important here. Sanatana Goswami was enjoined to broadcast the revealed scriptures on devotional service and establish the conclusions of devotional service. Now, which is the most important scripture which Sanatana Goswami gave to us, our Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees? Which is the most important scripture? Anyone knows? One hand has been raised. Yes, Virendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, it is Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Yes, it is Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Anyone wants to know about pure devotional service and wants to deeply get attached to Krishna, then he should read Brihad Bhagavatamrita. To re-establish lost places of pilgrimage like Vrindavan and Radhakund, to establish Vrindavan method of temple worship and install deities of temple, Sri Sanatana Goswami established Madan Mohan, Rupa Goswami, Goenji, and to enunciate the behavior of the Vaishnava, Sadachar. And this is also another important scripture which Sanatana Goswami wrote. In this way, Sanatana Goswami was empowered to establish the cult of Vaishnavism, as stated by Srinivasa Acharya in the Shadu Goswami Ashtaka. Nana Shastra Vicharane Kanipano Sadharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanya Karo Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajananandena Mattaliko Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. This is a translation. Now Prabhupada says something very interesting. This Krishna conscious movement continues the tradition of the six Goswamis, especially Srila Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada says, serious students of this Krishna conscious movement must understand this great responsibility to preach the cult of Vrindavan, devotional service to the Lord all over the world. We now have a nice temple in Vrindavan, and serious students should take advantage of it. I am very hopeful that some of our students can take on this responsibility and render the best service to humanity by educating people in Krishna consciousness. So please take this statements of Prabhupada very, very seriously. And you have to become a serious student. Yukta Vairagya Sthiti Saba Shikhaila, Shuksha Vairagya Jnana Saba Nishedila. So he taught him Yukta Vairagya and Shuksha Jnana, Shuksha Vairagya, dry renunciation. Prabhupada gives the explanation. This is a technique for understanding Shuksha Vairagya and Yukta Vairagya. In the Bhagavad Gita 6:17 it is said, Yuktahara Viharasya Yukta Cheshtasya Karmasu Yukta Swapna Bodhasya Yogo Bhavati Dukkha. To broadcast the cult of Krishna consciousness, one has to learn the possibility of renunciation in terms of country, time, and candidate. A candidate for Krishna consciousness in the Western countries should be taught about the renunciation of material existence. But one would teach candidates from a country like India in a different way. See, Prabhupada had to adjust the teachings, especially in the Western world, because of the situation there. The teacher, Acharya, has to consider time, candidate, and country. Desha, Kala, Patra. Patra is the candidate, Desh is the country, and Kala is the time. He must avoid the principle of Niyamagra. That is, he should not try to perform the impossible. What is possible in one country will not be possible in another. The Acharya's duty is to accept the essence of devotional service. There may be a little change here and there as far as Yukta Vairagya, proper renunciation, is concerned. Dry renunciation is forbidden by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have also learned this from our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Dasmani Prabhupada. The essence of devotional service must be taken into consideration and not the outward paraphernalia. Sanatana Goswami wrote his Vaishnava Smriti Hari Bhakti Vilas, which was specifically meant for India. In those days, India was more or less following the principles of Smart Vriddhi. There is some question I will take up a little later. Srila Sanatana Goswami had to keep pace with this, and his Hari Bhakti Vilas was compiled with this in mind. So the Acharyas compile scriptures at particular time with a particular purpose. So Sanatana Goswami's compilation of Hari Bhakti Vilas was, because there were a lot of Smriti rules during that time. So that's why he had to write a specific Vaishnav Smriti. According to smart Brahmanas, a person not born in a Brahmana family could not be elevated to the position of a Brahmana. Sanatana Goswami, however, says in the Hari Bhakti Vilas that anyone can be elevated to the position of Brahmana by the process of initiation. Yata kanchanatam yati kamsayam rasa vidanata tata diksha vidanena vijatam jayate nranam. A bell metal is turned into gold when mixed with mercury and an alchemical process. So one who is properly trained and initiated by a bona fide spiritual master immediately becomes a Brahmana. There is a difference between the Smarta process and the Goswami process. According to the Smarta process, one cannot be accepted as a Brahmana unless he is born in a Brahmana family. According to the Goswami process, the Hari Bhakti Vilas and the Narad Pantratra, anyone can become a Brahmana if he is properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. Of course, we should also develop the Brahminical qualities. This is also the verdict of Shukdev Goswami in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kirata, Punandra, Pulinda, Pulkasha. All can be purified by taking shelter of a pure devotee. A Vaishnava is immediately purified provided he follows the rules and regulations of his bona fide spiritual master. We have to note, provided he follows. This is very important. It is not necessary that the rules and regulations followed in India may be exactly the same as those in Europe, America, and other Western countries. Simply imitating without effect is called Niyamagra. Not following the regulative principles, but instead living extravagantly is also called Niyamagra. Prabhupada is explaining the concept of Niyamagra. The word Niyam means regulative principles and Agra means evenness. And the word Agraha means not to accept. We should not follow regulative principles without an effect, nor should we fail to accept the regulative principle. So Agraha means to fail to accept, and Agraha means we are eager to follow the rule, but that following the rule doesn't have any effect on us. What is required is a special technique according to Deshakala Patra. Without the sanction of the spiritual master, we should not try to imitate. The principle, this principle is recommended here. Shuksha Vairagya Gyan. Beautiful purport. This really understood. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's liberal demonstration of the Bhakti cult. We should not introduce anything whimsically without the sanction of the bona fide spiritual master. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on these points by quoting two verses of Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita. These are the famous verses. Anasakta Vishayan Yatharamba Upajanjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchate Prapanchakataya Buddhya Hari Sambandhi Vastuna Mumukshu vi parityago vairagyam falgu kartate. So this is the Yukta Vairagya principle, and this is the Shuksha Vairagya. Now, interestingly, Mahaprabhu starts quoting these verses that when we have Yukta Vairagya, then all these qualities by our devotion, we start manifesting all these qualities. So that is what is being discussed in these verses. These are the famous verses from the 12th chapter, verses 8 to 20, 12 to 20. Advaishta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukha shami santushta satatam yogi yatatma drida nishchaya Mai arpit mano buddhir yo mad bhakta samay priya. One should not be jealous of the members of other castes and nations. It is not that only Indians or Brahmanas can become Vaishnavas. Anyone can become a Vaishnava. Therefore, one should recognize that the Bhakti cult must be spread all over the world. Advaishta sarva bhutanam. This is real Advaishta. Moreover, the word Maitreya, friendly, indicates that one who is able to preach the Bhakti cult all over the world should be equally friendly to everyone. Okay, this is repeated. I don't know why. These two verses and the following 6 verses are spoken by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 12, 13 to 20. So I'll just recite these verses now. Yasmano dvijeta loko, lokano dvijeta yaha tu yaha, harshamarsha bhayodvege, muktayo sa cha me priya, anapeksha suchir daksha, udasino gatavyatah, sarvaramba parityagi, yo me bhakta same priya. Anapeksha means one should not be concerned with mundane people or should not depend upon them. One should depend solely on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and be free from material desires. One should be clean, suchi, within and without. To be outwardly clean, one should regularly bathe with soap and oil. And to be inwardly clean, one should always be absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. The word Sarvaramba Parityagi indicates that one should not be interested in so-called smart vidhi of pious and impious activities. Yo na harshati, na dveshti, na sochati, na kamshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktiman yah samay priya, sama shatro cha mitre cha, tatamana pamanayo, sitoshna sukha dukkeshu, samasanga vivarjita, tulya ninda sutir mauni, santushto yena kenachit, aniketa sthiramatir, bhaktiman me priya nara. Ye tu dharmamritam idam yatoktam paryopyasate shaddadhana mat parama bhaktaste ativa me priya. Ativa me priya is very, very dear to me. So these are the transcendental qualities which manifest also with this practice of Yukta Vairagya. Text 1114. Chirani kimpati nasanti dishanti bhiksham nevangripa parabratha sarito ap ashushyan ruddha guha kim majito vati no pasannan kasmat bhajati kavayo dhana dharm durmadan. Are there no torn clothes lying by the common road? This is the verse spoken by Sukadeva Goswami in the second temple. Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the uncomparable Supreme Personality Godhead not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then should learned persons like devotees go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? So these are also the qualities which is found in the advanced devotees. Prabhupada. This is a quotation from Bhagavatam 2-5. So the Goswami advises that a devotee should be independent in all circumstances. The body can be maintained with no problem if one follows the instruction given in this verse. To maintain the body, we require shelter, food, water, and clothing. All can be obtained without approaching puff-rich men. One can collect old garments that have been thrown out. One can eat fruits offered by trees. One can drink water by rivers. One can live in the caves of mountains. How many of us are ready to do this? He is having Yukta Vairagya. Those are ready to do this. By nature's arrangement, shelter, clothing, and food are supplied to the devotee who is completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality Godhead. Such a devotee does not need a puffed up materialist person to maintain him. In other words, devotional service can be discharged in any condition. This is the version of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje ahetukyat pratiyata yayatma suprasidati. This is a famous verse, we know that. Tabe sanatana saba siddhanta puchila Bhagavata Siddhanta Ghoda Shikhaila Kahila. Thereafter, Sanatana Goswami inquired from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about all the conclusive statements regarding devotional service. And the Lord vividly explained all the confidential meanings of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So now this section, further instructions what Mahaprabhu gave to Sanatana Goswami. Of course, it is not there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but there was now Bhagavad discussion, Bhagavad Siddhanta discussion which happened. हरिवंशे कयाचे गोलोके नित्य स्थिति इंद्र आसी करिला याबे Shri Krishna. The revealed scripture Harivamsha, there is a description of Golok Vrindavan, the planet where Lord Krishna eternally resides. This information was given by King Indra when he surrendered to Krishna and offered praise after Krishna had raised Govardhan hill. So Indra was blessed, and Harivamsha is that narration. In the Vedic scripture Harivamsha, Vishnu Parva, chapter 19, there is the following description of Golok Vrindavan. So these are the verses. I will not read the verses. I'll just read the translation. When the king of heaven Indra surrendered to Krishna after Krishna had raised Govardhan hill, Lord Indra stated that above the planetary systems wherein human beings reside is the sky where birds fly. And above the sky is the sun and its orbit. This is the entrance to the heavenly planets. Above the heavenly planets and other planets up to Brahmalok, where those advancing in spiritual knowledge reside. The planets up to Brahmalok are part of the material world, Devi Dham. Because the material world is under the control of Devi Durga, it is called Devi Dham. Above Devi Dham is the place where Lord Shiva and his wife Uma reside. That is called as the Mahesh Dham. Those brightened in spiritual knowledge and liberated from material contamination reside in that Shiva Lok. Above that planetary system is the spiritual world where there are the planets called Vaikuntha Lok. That is, this is the Haridham. Golok Vrindavan is situated above all the Vaikuntha Lokas. Golok Vrindavan is the kingdom of Srimati Radharani and the parents of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. In this way, there are various planet systems and they're all creations of the Supreme Lord. Then Prabhupada quotes this famous verse, Goloka Namani Nijidhamni Talecha Tasya Devi Mahesha Haridhamsu Teshu Teshu Te Te Prabhava Nichaya Vihitaschayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamham Vajami. Thus, Golok Vrindavan Dham is situated above the Vaikuntha planets. The spiritual sky containing all the Vaikuntha planets is very small compared to Golok Vrindavan Dham. Please remember, Golok Vrindavan is much bigger compared to all the Vaikuntha planets. The space occupied by Golok Vrindavan is called as Mahakash, or the greatest sky of all. Lord Indra said, we asked Lord Brahma about your eternal planet, but we could not understand it. Those fruity workers who have controlled their senses and mind with pious activities can be elevated to heavenly planets. Pure devotees who always engage in Lord Narayan service are promoted to the Vaikunthas. However, my Lord Krishna, your Golok Vrindavan Dham is very difficult to attain. Yet, both you and that supreme planet systems have descended here upon this earth. So what glories of Vrindavan Dham which has come manifested here? Unfortunately, I have disturbed you with my misdeeds, and that was due to my foolishness. I am therefore trying to satisfy you by my prayers. Srila Nilakanta refers the existence of Golok Vrindavan Dham by quoting the Rig Samhita. So this all was translation of those verses which from the Harivamsha. Tantam vastuni ushmasi gamadaye yatra gavo bhuri shringa ayasha atraha tad urugayasya Krishna paramam padam avabhati bhuri. We wish to go to your Radha's and Krishna's beautiful houses, about which cows with large excellent horns are wandering, yet distinctly shining on this earth is that supreme abode of yours that showers joy on all. O Urugaya, Krishna, who is much praised. So the description of Golok Vrindavan is given in Harivamsha, and Prabhupada quite elaborately discusses in the purport. What else Mahaprabhu teach? Sanatana Goswami. Maushala Leela Ar Krishna Antardhan Keshava Avatar Arayata Viruddha Vyakhyan Maheshi Haranadi Sabha Maya Maya Vyakya Shikailayacha Susiddhantahaya. Illusionary stories apport to the conclusion of Krishna consciousness concerning the destruction of the Yadu dynasty, Maushala Leela, Krishna's disappearance, Antardhan. The story of Krishna and Balram arise from the black hair and the white hair of Kshirodaksha Vishnu. And the story about the kidnapping of the queens, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatana Goswami the proper conclusions of these stories. So there are many contradicting stories about, that Krishna and Balram appeared from the hairs. And all this narrations are there. And these are all refuted both by Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami in their works, the Laghu Bhagavatamrita and the Brahat Bhagavatamrita. So all those conclusions also Mahaprabhu taught. Last few verses are there. I'll just finish it. Tabe Sanatana Prabhura Charana Dhariya Nivedana Kare Dhantatrina Guchalan. Sanatana Goswami humbly accepted his position as a lower than a piece of straw, and symbolically holding some straw in his mouth, he fell down, clasped the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and submitted the following petition. Nicha Jati Nicha Sevi Muni Supamar Siddhanta Shikaila Ei Brahmar Agochar. Sanatana Goswami said, my dear Lord, I am very lowborn. Indeed, I am the servant of a lowborn people, because he was serving Nawab. Therefore, I am very, very downtrodden. Nonetheless, you have taught me conclusions unknown even to Lord Brahma. Tumiye kahila e siddhantam Sindhu moraman chinute nare ihare ekabindu. The conclusions that you have told me are the ocean of ambrosia of truth. My mind is unable to approach even a drop of that ocean. पंगु ना चाहते यदि होय तुम्हारा मन वर देह मोर मथे धारिया चरण. If you want to make a layman like me dance, kindly show your transcendental blessings by placing your lotus feet on my head. मुये शिकायलुनो तोरस पूरक सकल ए तुम्हारा वर होते तबे मोरा बल. Now you will please tell me, let whatever I have instructed all be fully manifested unto you. By blessing me in this way, you will give me the strength to describe all this. तबे महाप्रभु तांड्रा शिर धरी वर दिला ए सब स्फुरक तुम्हारे. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then placed his hand on Sanatana Goswami's head and blessed him, saying, let all these instructions be manifested to you. संक्षेप कैलुना प्रेम प्रयोजन संवाद विस्तार कहानाया प्रभुर प्रसाद. Thus I have briefly described a discussion of the ultimate goal of life, love of Godhead. The mercy of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot be described expansively. प्रभुर उपदेशामृत सुने ए जन अचिरात मिले तांड्रा कृष्ण प्रेमदन. This is the Falashruti. Whoever hears these instructions given to Sanatana Goswami by the Lord comes very soon to realize love of Godhead. And we should have faith that this is the Falashruti we hear this chapter. Shri Rupas Raghunatha Pade Arash Chaitanya Charitamrit Kahe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit, Madhya Leela, chapter 23, describing love of Godhead. So here ends our entire series on the Sanatana Shiksha, chapters 20, 21, 22, 23, 4 chapters. Thank you very, very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit ki Jai. Hare Krishna.